What up, everybody? I'm Dave Miranda, and this is episode 64 of Just Give Me 5. I hope you guys are doing great, continue to be amazing. We got a really awesome show lined up for you today. But if you guys caught episode 63, you saw we had none other than my man, Pete Salas. And let me tell you, when he was telling those stories about the old house scene, you know, and when house music was pretty much introduced to Arizona back in the mid 90s, that took me back to a time because that took me to when we used to go to this club called the Dome. Shout out to Benny RC. You know, we had him on the show as well. And he used to run an underground nightclub over there underneath the 7th Avenue Bridge. And it just used to pop off, man. I mean, like everybody who was everybody was there, you know. It's where I met a lot of DJs in the scene that I'm still cool with to this day. And they used to have house music, you know what I mean? And this was when, yeah, like Bad Boy Bill, Richard Humpty Vision, DJ Irene, you know, that whole scene. And so we used to go there. This when party crews were big, and it was just awesome times, man. So when he was telling those stories, it was really taking me back to those times in general. So shout out to Pete Salas, man. You know, just a really good brother. Very honored to have him on the show. And make sure you guys watch episode 63. All right. But today's guest has been a staple in the Arizona music scene for so many years now. We're going to talk about his early days in music and how he got started. We're also going to talk about working with the legendary Snoop Dogg and how that experience came about. We're also going to talk about a new Chicano movement that he has called OASA on a Sunday afternoon, something I personally love. And just everything he's got going on with that and much more. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I present to you Bobby Anthony.
What up? It's Bobby Anthony. And all I'm saying is just give me 5. I feel like music actually, I know everybody says this, but music saved me in a lot of ways. Okay. So I feel like it was kind of brought to me. Initially, music it was a big part of my life growing up, you know, my family parties, everybody that I was around. My parents were really young. They had me very young. So like, I kind of grew up with them. So all the new jams, all the rap, all the freestyle, the old school, that's what I grew up listening to. And then the oldies and all that, my tias, when I would go to my dad's side of the family, they'd be bumping all the vinyl, the oldies but good, you know what I mean, everything, Art LeBeau, the whole nine, you know? So I got like that, the feel for music like early on. And I knew it meant something to me just because it made me feel different, you know? And then, you know, as a kid, I watched La Bamba and Boulevard Nights, and it was on the same tape, a VHS tape. Right. And that became my favorite tape. You know, I based everything off of that. I wanted to have a gold record like Richie Valens. Richie, yeah. I wanted to be Richie Valens, you know. And I loved Chuco and Boulevard Nights, you know. So, and it was cool because it related to myself so much because, you know, my parents weren't together because they had me so young. Right. But I still had a beautiful relationship with both sides of the family. Yeah. But I just, I felt like I related to both of those movies so much. Like even at that young of an age, like 5, 6, I still was like, it was kind of like those things I was watching those movies were relatable, and I was seeing those same things in my everyday, you know, life. So fast forward, I lost my dad when I was about 8, and I got in some trouble and just started, you know, following the wrong crowd, trying to just be somebody that deep down inside I don't think I was, you know. But I got in trouble and I made some bad choices, and the judge gave me a break because of the tragedy that happened losing my dad. So thankfully, he basically put me into a program and stuff, and I had to go to a youth center, which was called Mothers Against Gangs. It was on 14th Street in Thomas, right across from Juan's. Oh, yeah. And it was a place for at-risk youth, like gang members, whatever, you know. And the
lost kids.
yeah, the person who started it, she lost her son to gang violence, and so she wanted a center for everybody to kind of go do things that other than gang activity. You know what I mean?
Like MAD.
Yeah,
You know
same
what I mean, in a
thing.
sense. Right, yeah.
So I went there, and I loved it because that was like, there was like cholos. It was people that were like me, you know, and it was and I didn't have to like worry about like fighting or getting beat up or getting jumped or.
You're at home.
It was different because everybody felt the same way, you know. So I finally felt comfortable somewhere, you know, which was weird. But one of the counselors there was a young dude. He was probably 17, 18, maybe like 19 actually. He had slick hair, long like tail, and he had every day he wore like Dickies, like the Dickie pants, but like with the fat laces on the Pumas, a matching like T-shirt. Everything was just matching, like pastel Dickies. He had every color Dickies. Yeah, and I'm like, that's what was fly, you know. So we would have breakdancing battles and stuff. So he would teach me a little bit here and there, or whatever. And his name was Ricky. He took on to me, and we talked a little bit more and more than normal, and we found out that he knew my dad and our families were related, all this stuff, and so. When my stepdad had found out that he was a counselor there, he was like, oh, all right, well, if he wants to pick you up and take you there whenever, go ahead, you know? Yeah. So I would go there all the time. Yeah. Well, Ricky is Zigzag from NB Riders, from Nasty Boy Clip.
Wow, okay.
So what happened was, he was going to these meetings to meet Magic at the swap meet, all these different things. He was rapping. I was going with him everywhere because he would pick me up right after school. Me and his brother went to school. His little brother, we went to school together. Oh, okay. So right after school, I would go, because I had to go to the Mothers Against Gangs. It was like ordered. So you know. So we went there, but he would teach me how to rap. He would teach me how to everything, you know, just the culture. And so when you ask me how I got into music, I know it's a long answer, but Ziggy is the one that really kind of just like taught me and introduced me on that level of like here's he had a Yamaha RY30, a drum machine, and I just remember like the beats he was making on there were crazy, and I was like, yo, you're making that on that, you know? Right. I was like 12 or 13, 14 years old, and he's like, yeah, he's like, hey, I'll make you beats. We started a group called the Traviesos. It was me, his little brother, and two other homies, Sean and my homie Joey. And I love it. So he was like, I'll make you guys beats, but don't ever touch my shit. Ever. Don't ever touch this machine, you know what I mean? He would lock the door when he'd take a shower. Like, it would be like, man, come on, see? So, but I was the one, I'd always get in there and be like, you know what I mean? And I started messing with it. But I just watched him, and I was just like, I figured it out. And finally, he would start teaching me. And one day I made some beats on his machine, and when he was in the shower, and he came out, and he's like, you little motherfucker. And he was like, damn, all right. So he started trusting me more, you know, and then he would take me to Magics more and more. And that's how I got into it. You know, I found, I forgot, like, I didn't even have to go to Mothers Against Gangs no more, because I didn't care about the gigs. Like, that was like, that was so far behind. It was so near that it just happened, but it was so far behind in my head because of the passion and like the void that this music and this culture was filling for me now. For sure, man. You know? So I'm just grateful and thankful for A, that judge, and B, for Ziggy, to be honest with you, because you know, what if I got some counselor that didn't really care, who was just there doing community service or whatever the case, you know what I mean? And that really kind of got me into the business. You know, from that, the Magic started showing me how to make beats. And then like, I used to drive around in Magics. He used to let me go, so I wanted to learn how to do the talk box, right? And he was like, I didn't have my license or nothing. I think I was 15, maybe. So he had a passport, a Honda Passport, a black one.
I remember we talked about on the MBK album.
Yeah, okay.
On AZ side.
He had a black one, right? So I don't know so anyway, so look.
That's funny.
So he goes, hey, so you want to learn? All right, cool. Go to Ace Hardware. Yeah. He takes his tube off and he's like, go to Ace Hardware and tell him get 2 of these.
Right.
I was like, all right. Ace Hardware is maybe 7 minutes away. You know, nothing
Right,
crazy.
right.
It was around Metro Center area. So, anyways, he gives me the keys of the passport, and I'm like, and that's what I'm thinking. That line, rolling in the passport,
That's
leaning
what
to
I'm
the
saying.
side, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, there's no way he just gave me the keys. Like, I'm like, he just told me, like, warm it up maybe. You know?
Right.
And he's like, all right, just go there and come back. I'm like, all right. Damn, you know, so I'm like, cool. My school was right down the street. So,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Cross real
I had to.
Yeah.
So I went down to Apollo and I was just mobbing down there. I pulled up, I went by the cafeteria.
Yeah.
The cheerleaders were getting off practice.
Right.
I was out there like, what's up? And then there was no cell phones obviously at that time. So,
Right, man.
well, I did have a cell phone, but it was my thoughts cell phone. Like I thought
yeah.
I was flex. Man, I was
Yeah, man.
man, I was ain't no future in the front, guys.
Right.
But so anyways, but I was 14, 15, you know.
Yeah,
So anyways, I go to Ace Hardware and I get the tube, and I get back and Magic's like, what's up, Lil Rob? He calls me Lil Rob.
Yeah.
What's up, Lil Rob? I said, what up? I was like, man, it was traffic and they couldn't find the thing or whatever. And he was like, oh, for real? I was like, yeah. He goes, you just left there? And I was like, yeah, well, I was there for a minute, you know. And he was like, oh, all right. He was like, I called there and or whatever, and they said you just left there or whatever. I was like, oh, damn, I got cut. So he knew that I was probably cruising around or whatever,
Right.
but he didn't really like, you know,
Yeah.
he didn't really give me a hard time about it. But it was just kind of random. But those experiences kind of just really molded like what music was gonna be for me, I think, at that time, you know. So that's how I got into music. My first performance, I feel like two really stick out in my brain.
Okay.
And they were nothing that was like, you know, whatever, but
Yeah.
one was after I had gotten in trouble and had to go to the Mothers Against Gangs and all that, I also had to go to a Catholic school called St. Matthew's, which was on 21st Avenue in Van Buren,
Right.
which really wasn't too much better because I just got exposed to like prostitutes and crackheads
Right,
and you know what I mean? And then I had to take the
right.
bus from there to 35th Avenue, like in Glendale,
Yeah.
by myself and with my little sister, and that bus route was nasty.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I at that school though,
Oh, yeah.
St. Matthew's, they knew that I was kind of like, I guess troubled or whatever. They just knew I had a lot going on. So,
Right.
they were cool with me. They would like pull me out of class and like, hey, we need some help doing these things or whatever around at the church or whatever, right? And they would like have me doing stuff or whatever. But they got this new PA system and it was like top of the line, like dope, you know? And I saw it, I was like, dang, because they delivered it and they had me open the boxes and all that.
Right.
And so I was, at the same time I was going to Mothers Against Gangs, Ziggy was teaching me how to rap and all that, right?
Yeah.
And I was bumping the MC Magic album, like, because I was around them. So to me, it was like, you know, and I wasn't bumping it like in front of them, but like, as soon as I left being with them, I was bumping that shit too. Like, you know, I was just like, you know. So I remember that when they got the PA system, they said, hey, you know, if you do well and whatnot, because they seen that I took an interest to the equipment.
Right.
And I was saying like, hey, I was saying like, oh, I'll kill a show, like, you know what I mean, just talking crazy.
Feeling yourself,
Yeah, so the guy told me, he's like, hey, if you keep doing good, you know, whatever, I'll let you rent this equipment out on the weekend.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, from the school, you know, whatever. And he's like, yeah, I'll sign it out under my name, and I'll let him know. He's like, but if anything happens to it,
That's on you.
no. He's like, that's on me, but it's on you too, you know, whatever. But so I was like, all right, cool. So the same dude, he was teaching me like photography, and all these different things.
Yeah.
So they were trying to put together like fiestas and stuff like that to make some money for the church.
For the church, yeah.
And I just naturally wanted to be involved because they allowed. I wasn't like a normal student. I was a normal student, but I would be around the faculty a lot because they would pull me for some reason, whatever.
And I think Mothers Against Gangs plays a role in that as well. Because,
Maybe.
You know, being around Ziggy, that was considered faculty. It's kind of what you already kind of knew that kind of, you know, that
Right.
vibe. So
True.
that could play a role too. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know that. You know, between like, you know, my dad dying, my parents having me young, my dad dying, just all those consistent tragic things happening. I think I was forced to grow up really fast. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And so, I think being in those environments just kind of made me feel was more comfortable, I guess.
Yeah.
But I kind of took on and understood, I guess, a little bit more than my peers. I guess, I don't know.
Yep.
So, and they took on to that, I guess. They trusted me. They started trusting me. Long story short, so we had a opportunity to do a fiesta, and I said, and they let me handle the music. They were like,
Nice.
you can handle all the music, and they let me set up the PA system, do everything, right?
That's cool, man. Yeah.
Well, within the music thing, I slid in a little performance, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Of
Right.
RL.
Yeah, man.
And one of my best friends, Vince Cahey, rest in peace. That was my dog, man. He gave me all the confidence, man. He was just crazy. You know what I mean? He just was like, man, we can do it. Let's do it.
Right.
You know, I'll do Magic's second verse. You do Magic's first verse. You know, whatever. I'm like, all right, cool.
Nice.
So him and I, we performed, you know, at the fiestas.
Yeah.
And dude, I mean, man, that just felt so good. It just felt like, I just felt so comfortable. I wasn't nervous. It just felt like where I was supposed to be, you know what I'm saying? Even setting up the equipment, you know what I mean? I was just like, this is dope, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so that performance really means a lot to me because it was literally my first one.
Absolutely.
And then shortly after that, Glendale, I'm not sure if it was with the Glendale Youth Center or what program it was, or if it was, I don't think it was for school, but something in Glendale.
Okay.
But we did this like, I don't know what it was. Oh, a talent show. It was a talent show.
Yeah.
But it was at the Glendale Amphitheater where they have it down in the whatnot. And my homie Jimmy Amadeus, rest in peace. Him and I, ironically enough, we performed on a Sunday afternoon by Lighter Shade of Brown.
Nice, man.
So like, those two are like, even though they weren't really my performances, like they were performances, you know, and I just, it really kind of like solidified like what I wanted to do with this music, you know, and like I knew, like I was like, that's what I want to do, period, you know what I mean? That's it. So, and then like moving forward, I've had so many performances, I can't even remember, you know what I mean? The first one as, you know, like career-wise. But yeah, but those two were very special to me, so they definitely stand out. So. Working with Snoop was crazy. I mean, talk about a dream come true, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so, like, everything reverts back to my childhood some way or another, especially in my age now that I have kids.
Right.
I just,
You reflect more.
it's weird, yeah. That's just how my brain is working now. It's weird. But I remember my stepdad, right? He had a 1951, he still has a 51 Chevy truck.
Okay.
It's an old school bomb truck, right?
Yeah, man.
And that was his dream. It was his first car, you know, and he wanted to, you know, for it to be a show truck, you know. And so every year he would use a little bit of his taxes, put towards that, get something for himself, take us to Disneyland, whatever, you know, all these different things.
Yeah.
But it never got done really. But whenever he would get it running, well, we would do this regardless, but I'm just remembering this because of this particular moment. We had the truck running, and he was like, "Hey, come on, let's go. We don't have a lot of time, you know." I'm like, "All right." So we go to Circles on Central.
Yeah, man.
And it was what, 1992, and the Doggy Style album came out.
Yeah, man.
And I had remembered from the year before, or 2 years before, when the Chronic came out.
Yep.
My mom and my stepdad had a Nissan Sentra, but it had like 212s in it, right? Just
yeah.
dumping.
Right. Had to.
So it had the same thing. We had, you know, so when we went to Circles to get the Doggy Style album, I just remember leaving there and him, you know, taking the plastic off the tape, you know, all that.
Yeah.
And then I would always grab the credits and, you know, the paper or whatever, and I would just always read everything. I just remember like the naked dog chicks and all that. I'm like, what the fuck, you know, whatever.
Right.
So, but what I was reading was crazy, which I don't know, I guess for my age it was kind of weird too, but I was noticing the samples that were on there.
Right.
I knew the songs because of the vinyl and the my Thea and all them were always playing, the oldies and stuff.
Right.
So I was like, hold up, this song's on here too?
Yeah.
Like because I was like, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
And then so when I would hear the songs and I hear the samples, like I knew that wasn't that song. So I was like, hold up, okay, they're taking that and they're making it like, so that right there, I understood the production process kind of, like, you know what I mean? And I think that helped me too when I started producing, because I was like, okay, you know, whatever. But we get the Snoop album, and I remember he puts it in, and in my head I'm hearing everything. I'm hearing the crackling of the paper, and the tape, and the Kenwood, you know what I'm saying? Or the Alpine, he had an Alpine actually. And I just remember like him pushing play, and then that first song come on, and it's just like, what the fuck is this?
Right.
You know what I mean? It was just like, because you hadn't heard nothing from Death Row really for a while too, because, I mean, Death Row from, you know, well, yeah, Death Row from that camp.
Because it was a 2-year run, you know, from Dre to then.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So to get that, and it was so like G-Funk heavy.
Oh yeah.
Because he had a lot of Daz on their production as well. And then we first heard Battle Cat, you know, the young Battle Cat on that. So all that stuff was just, bro, those bass lines, that funk, it just, you know what I mean? And feeling it, like he put one of his speakers boxes like in the middle of us in the truck. We just had a makeshift little, you know, instead of the word bumping. Yeah. But I just remember that speaker going boom, you know what I mean?
Man. Yep.
But like I'll never forget that. And so fast forward, you know, I first started like smoking weed and stuff as a kid, you know, or whatever, like messing around.
Right.
It was like Snoop stuff that I was like, you know, I'm like, man, Snoop, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So working with Snoop was insane. I moved to LA from Phoenix. I was living in downtown Phoenix, and it was lame, to be honest with you. There was no scene, there was nothing going on. There was like,
especially at that time.
It was 08, 2009.
Yet.
No, there was nothing.
Yeah.
I had a condo right there in Roosevelt, and it was, I wish I still had it, but you know, but it's just, it was dead, bro. Like I was taking a taxi to go to Scottsdale to party and whatever, so it was just like, And I was just not over the town. I love my town, I love my city, but career-wise, I had already performed at all the clubs out here. I've done all the events. I've been doing the car show since I was a teenager. And so I just was like, I need some, and I was already performing in other states. I was doing Farmington, New Mexico, I was doing California, I was, you know. So I was like, I have to make a move, or I have to get a job. And I'm like, I haven't had to have a job yet, so I'm like, I really don't want to, you know, so I'm not gonna give it up that easy, you know. So knowing that I wasn't gonna really make it out of here to the level that I really wanted to be at, I just took my chances, man, and I just got up and I left to LA, you know. I just dipped, and I didn't just dip. I was already going there a lot for features. I was doing a lot
You
of
were making the connections and networking.
I was doing a lot of Chicano rap features.
Right.
I was going out there for production. I was doing stuff for Capone's camp, for a lot of people, you know.
Your presence known.
Right. Me and DTX from Lighter Shade of Brown, we had all kinds of projects lined up. We rest in peace.
Yeah, God bless.
We had we never got to make amends. We had kind of had a little falling out, and it's unfortunate. But he, I mean, dude, just meeting him and him like loving my beats and all that was like, in my head I'm like, dude, Bobby from, or DTX from Lighter Shade of Brown is kicking it right here in my apartment.
Right.
And we're going through all these, whatever.
Yeah.
So anyways, I give him a beat CD, and he's the reason why I'm on a lot of Chicano rap albums, because that beat CD I gave him, he was just, and he let everybody know this is produced by Bobby Anthony, whatever. So I'm grateful for that from him,
Yeah.
and I wish I would have got to talk to him before, but that it all worked out, and I'm grateful for the friendship and stuff and the opportunities he created, because those were blessings, and that's another dream come true, But when I moved to LA, I kind of just had all that ready to go. So I had studios I could work at, I had studios that I could go to, and my plan was like this: I'm gonna go there with no plan really.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go there, and my plan is to just do what I do. You know what I mean? And do what I've been doing for the past, from the day I met Ziggy until, that day in 2009 or whatever when I moved to LA.
Right.
And I just, I had been blessed that time, so I just was like, I'm not gonna fold. I'm gonna keep seeing what's out there. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm gonna see what's up with the universe. You know what I mean? Like I'm open to things. So I went out there, and immediately, bro, I just was like, any studio I can be at, I'm at. Period.
Sure.
So I had my week lined up I was in the studio every single day. Regardless if I was just kicking it with the homies there or whatever, I just was in the studio environment every single day.
Nice.
I mean, I was stretching it. I was like driving from Orange County to LA, like dipping, because, when like a celebrity friend, a homie calls you, they're gonna call you like, you're not gonna get no heads up, basically.
No.
So it's gonna be like, hey, what's up? Oh, how you been, bro? Good. Oh, I'm right here. We're about to go to the club. Oh, you are? Yeah, we're gonna walk down to the lobby right now. I didn't even know you were in town, dog. Like, let me, you know what I mean?
Right.
So then, that stuff would happen all the time, and I was like, dude, I'm not gonna spend nights in my condo, like, not, just being like, oh man, I should have went. Like, no, I'm taking advantage of every single thing that comes our way. So I met a lot of girls that time, and a lot of the girls, like, I was cool. I've never been like a pushy dude, or like I'm always just cool. So like, I had a lot of like beautiful girlfriends like around, you know what I mean? Just like homies, like we go grub and whatever. So they plugged me with a lot of DJs.
Nice.
Jay Valentino, who's huge now, my homie.
Yeah.
Just a lot of cats. Alex Dreams from Kiss FM.
Okay.
A lot of people. I got plugged in, and so that network was it was different out there in LA. I had to really like understand it first,
Right.
because the game was so different in LA compared to Phoenix.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it was night and day.
Night and day, man. Yeah.
So when I was out there, I was like, hold on, wait, where am I at? You know what I mean? Like, it was like,
Yeah.
like I thought I understood it from visiting and going every month and staying there, but no, it's different when you're immersed in the scene and you're,
You're not just visiting, you're a resident.
right. People start seeing you more. The
Yeah.
club people, they see you with celebrity. Dude, I would like, so one time, Powerhouse,
Yeah.
I know this is kind of deterring from the question with Snoop, but it's getting to it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Powerhouse, Power 106, Powerhouse, 2000, maybe 11, or maybe 10. I went with Baby Bash. And, bro, Kobe, Vanessa were there, Drake, young Drake, Trey Songz. Like, Trey Songz was more popping than Drake at that time, you know what I'm saying? I mean, so many people. Anyways, over there at that event, we all went to go eat in LA, West LA, after at this spot called Barry's. Okay. They're famous for their lobster pizza. Like everybody knows about it now, but back then it was like exclusive, and it was like it was like a club. You couldn't get in that. It was this big. I think he's Russian. I'm not sure. Right. He'd be out there and he'd be like, "All right, okay." Well, I went there with Drake and them, but I wasn't really there with Drake and them. You know what I mean? I was there with Drake and them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because I had the same wristbands and all that, that fool didn't know like if I was with him or not. He didn't even know. You know?
Yeah.
So we went there, and so long story short, ever since that day, that dude at the front at Barry's remembered me. Okay. So, bro, I would pull up like randomly at all these different times at the at the end of the night or whatever. Yeah. And I would walk right to the front door. They'd be like, "Hey, my friend, come on," they'd take me in. I'd be like, "Damn, that's tight." So I started doing that. I was like, all right, that's how you got to move out here. It's just like who you are type of thing. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right. So I would just kind of like get in there where I fit in it, and then I became friends with a lot of like big people, and it just really kind of. And I was cool though. I wasn't I wasn't corny and weird about things and taking pictures and all that. Right. I was there to soak up game and get somewhere. I just seen the potential, and I was like, all right, I'm right here. That's all I have to do is do it. So I'm at my buddy Manny Mahar's studio in Newport Beach, and some guys from Canada come in town, and they're gonna work up some records, I think, for Bieber and stuff. Bieber was like not even whatever yet. Right. And I don't know, something happened where we got locked out and chatted a little bit. When we got back to the studio, we had they were waiting on something. Yeah. So he's like, "Hey, you got some of your stuff?" I was like, "Oh shit." And I had some stuff I was recording there at the homie studio, but that was like me going, la la la, you know what I mean? Like playing beats and just like trying to get melodies. Like I'm in this big studio, like it wasn't like where it was home yet, where I was just kicking it, expressing and writing. Like it wasn't that to that point. So all the stuff that I had wasn't. It was cool, but I didn't want to show it to him. Yeah. So I had some stuff in my email, so I started going through it, and I find this one song, and I played like 3 songs, and they're just like, "Oh, okay, the next one," and I'm like, "Damn," I'm starting to get discouraged. I'm like, "Man, I don't even want to play no more." You know what I mean? So this one comes up, and this song that I did was it was an old song that I did after partying in Scottsdale one night, and I used to party like hard, and I used to, I was popping bottles all the time, whatever. So, but anyways, I had a lot of forgetful nights, and I basically wrote a song about that. And it was just me messing around. I wasn't trying to do that stuff. Like I wasn't trying to do that song. That song, it was like things were getting kind of like, I don't know. The music was getting kind of like more experimental at the time. So I was like,
a lot of electronics.
Yeah. Timbaland was doing a lot of cool stuff. Nelly Furtado, like a lot of really cool stuff. You know what I mean? So I was like, I like it. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to be stuck in the Chicano rap.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like no disrespect at all that, but I didn't want to be in that bubble, especially because I wasn't around. Like even though I was there, like working with a lot of the cats on a day-to-day basis, I really wasn't around a lot of that anymore. Right. So it was kind of weird, but it was just like, oh, man, there's more music out here. There's more music out here you can make, So they heard the song and were like, wait, keep playing. I was like, oh, shit. I stopped it right away. And they're like, no, play it. And I was like, this one's like not it's not mixed. They're like, no, play it. I was like, all right. Well, this is not something I really like do. This is just something I'm messing around with, right? So I play it, and they're like, dude, 45 seconds go by. And I'm counting the seconds because every other one, it was like 20 seconds, 30, they're out, you know? So I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, So that he stops it and he's like, what are you gonna do with this? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I can make this a hit. That's a hit. I can make this a hit. I'm like, and he's like, well, what can we work out? I was like, if you can make that a hit, I was like, we'll work out the percentages, like for sure. Within a couple hours, bro, like I pretty much had a single deal, like with DJ Ian Carey from Miami, who was on Spinning Records, who was one of the biggest DJs in the world at the time. But in the dance world, the EDM world, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I had no knowledge of that type of music at all.
Music to this now. Yeah.
Bro, like,
You know what I mean?
it was like, I remember texting this girl, and she was big into EDM, and I said, hey, do you know who DJ Ian Carey is?
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, and then she shows me her iPod or something like that, and it was like a whole,
full of him.
yeah, and I'm like, she's like, dude, like, that's a big deal, you know?
Look, yeah.
I'm like, really? All right. So then my other buddy, Rico DeLargo, he's a professional trumpet player.
Yeah.
He plays with it, EDM and all that.
Yeah.
But I messaged him, hey, do you know who Ian Carey is? And he's like, Bobby. He's a huge DJ, bro,
Yeah.
you know? And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, me and him got a single together now. And he's like, what?
Right.
So Ian Carey wanted to pick it up. He wanted it to be his next single. So I spent months, bro, trying to get Baby Bash.
Yeah.
Literally, bro, we're at dinner at PF Chang's in Anaheim. And I'm like, bro, let's go to the studio right now. Let's knock this out, you know? I'll pay you, you know, like whatever. I want to get somebody on the record.
Yeah.
Especially because American features at the time, well, even now, in Europe and all that, they love that, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I was like, if I can come through with this for them, it's gonna be massive.
Yeah.
So, and at the time too, I reached out to Pitbull too, you know, and he was on the world tour, you know, so go figure.
Right.
And I think Purple, he said like it was gonna be months or weeks or whatever before it happened. So I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So Snoop came about through one of my neighbors and my boy Manny, and it just kind of happened in the craziest way. It was just kind of like, yo, what's up? Snoop said he'll do the record. What?
Wow.
That's how it came in.
Right.
I'm barbecuing with a bunch of girls and my homies. Like my neighbor got food poisoning. He bought bad eggs from Whole Foods in Newport.
Oh.
So they gave him a $500 gift card. So we had like steak and lobsters and all that.
Yeah.
So we're chilling, dude, like kings at the pool.
Yeah.
And I get that call. Hey, Snoop said he'll do it. What? I don't have $100 grand.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
so that's cool, but who's gonna pay for it? Yeah, I'm like, let's be real here. Like, come on, like, don't gas me up and try like, oh, Snoop's gonna do it. Like, that's cool, but like, there's still business that we have to, like, you know what I mean?
Know him. You know what I mean?
And you know what? Like, no shade at all, but I learned a lot about business from MC Magic and MB Riders and all that, on all their like situations.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And like I said, no shade. I love all of them, but I'm grateful for that too, because in that moment I knew like, you know, like that's cool. People can say things, but you know, we can't pay dude and it not happen and we not get the paperwork,
Exactly.
and I have to recoup that, right?
Yep.
So I'm like, nah. So they were like, if you can go tomorrow, we'll wire you the money tomorrow. And I'm like, what? Bro, they wired the money. We called Snoop's people.
Yeah.
He was like, meet us at on Sunset and Vine. My bad, Snoop, if you're still there. Sunset and Vine at the Denny's, and bring all cash. So, all right. So we pull up, and we get I stop at a little Chinese store out there, like a Kmomo type thing, but out there different. And we get a blue bandana print duffel bag and throw all the cash up in there.
Oh, dope.
So we pull up, and there's a dude by a 750, a black 750 Beamer, and he's just a 760, and he's just chilling out there with a white styrofoam eating chicken wings. And I'm like, I pull up, and he's like, Bobby Anthony? I was like, yeah. And he's like, you got that? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, let me see. And he comes up, and he's like, yeah, bro. I'm like, so I open it up, and he's like, my homie Manny opened it up, showed him. He's like, all right, cool. So he called somebody. He's like, all right, it's cool. I'm like, all right. So he's like, all right, follow me. I'm like, all right. So we pull up, some condos right there around the corner, go in security, all that, or the parking lot. We get to the elevator, and Snoop's security, tiny, big old dude. He's just standing there. He's all, they good?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, they good. And he was like, all right. He was like, what's up, y'all? All nice after that.
You gotta get that out.
Yeah. So then we go in the elevator, and we roll up, we get in Snoop's spot, and we probably kick it like, it's literally like if I went to your house like as a homie back in the day or whatever, and like I just go kick it on the couch, and I'm like, there's drinks in there if you want some, go ahead, type thing. I'm like, what? So I went to the fridge for sure. I was like, they tell me I could do that. Yeah. I'm not gonna not do that. I'm gonna be like, I opened that fridge up, see what's in it. So I got a Gatorade out of there, went back, kicked it, sat on the couch, and he had a dude sitting like in those like palm type of chairs, but it was like I don't know, it was like a gamer chair, I guess, type of thing. Yeah. But that dude was just rolling blunts, bro, the whole time. Yeah. There was like a pyramid, dog. Right. And I was like, damn. So they're all just smoking, and my homie sitting here next to me. We're chilling. I'm just looking at him. I'm looking around. I'm looking at him. I'm like, 45 minutes go by, and I'm like, I don't know what we're doing. Like, the TV's on, like whatever. His moon mans are right there. Like, I'm trying to take pictures and stuff. I'm like taking selfies. Like, and I'm like, bro, like what's going on? Yeah. So finally he comes out. He had a mustard shirt on, some long khakis, some house shoes. He's rolling up a whatever. Comes out. He's like, what's up, nephew? I'm like, whatever. So he was like, they good? And they were like, yeah, he's good. And then he sits down and start smoking. We start talking like this kind of, you know what I mean? Like, he's just like, so what's up? Are you from here or where you from? And I'm like, nah. Told him the whole get down or whatever, and he was like, it was crazy, bro. It was just like, it didn't feel like business at all. Yeah. It felt like I don't know, like I seen a lost relative that was just trying to get to know me and like know what's up, right? So it just, working with him was just surreal, because not only that, but I mean, it's Snoop. Yeah. Just the whole process to this point of the story it's just surreal. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, this was 3 months into me moving to LA.
Wow.
No plan, bro.
90-day trial.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, I had my credit cards ran up.
Yeah, man. Right.
That was a stressful time. I'm glad that you don't have to use electricity or AC in Orange County, because oh man. But no, when we finally he was like, hey, we did the money thing or whatever, and then he's like, I'm gonna go in here and lace you up. Yeah. I'm like, all right. So those of you who know music will understand this. A chorus is 8 bars, right? Okay. We paid for 12 bars. We paid for a 12-bar verse, right?
Oh, okay.
That was what we agreed upon. It was supposed to be just 12. That's basically a bridge. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's not very much. Yeah. So he comes out probably another 45 minutes, right? And I'm hearing him, and I'm like, I hear him say my name. Yeah. And I'm like, he's like, Bobby A. And I'm like, what the fuck? Right. And I'm trying to be as cool as possible, because everybody in there, like, those are his homies, and like that's normal for them. So it's
Yeah. This It's Calvin to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, trying to be cool. So he comes out and he's like, go ahead and go in there and peep it out. I was like, all right. So I go in there, plays it, bro. I'm just like, for one, like, I was partaking in, some of the activities. And
Right.
I was just like, I honestly don't know if what I felt, like, I felt something crazy, bro. And it was like, like when like something's gonna happen, like good or bad, and it kind of gives you the chills, or like you kind of just get like a weird feeling.
Right.
I felt like this weird feeling like that, and I'm like, damn, like my life's about to change. You know what I mean? 100%, my life is about to change, and it's up to me to make the right decisions from here on out. I literally, that's what I was thinking. I was like, dude. So walk out of there, we sit down, and he's like, what do you think? You good with that? And I was like, hell yeah. So remember I told you paid him for 12 bars?
Yeah.
Dude, he gives us 52 bars.
Wow.
That's longer than a whole song.
Yeah, man.
I can cut that up and make 3 different verses out of it.
It's like a freestyle and a mixtape.
Pretty much.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
But that's pretty much how he gets down. He just writes until he stops.
Yeah.
He was just writing. He had like 3 pages.
Wow, man.
And he basically was just like,
He was in his zone. Yeah.
so we had to chop it up. Me and Carrie chopped it up to what it is now. We made the radio edit and whatnot, but that verse is long.
Yeah.
Long. And he was like, paperwork would be good too. Like, and so we were supposed to pay him for well, not to rush that story, but I ended up kicking it there.
Yeah.
That day he was like, you can kick it if you want. I'm like, all right. So I kicked it there for a minute. Mike Epps showed up. They started doing crank calls.
Oh my God.
Dude, it was crazy, bro.
Right.
So, we left whatever. So, fast forward now to the video shoot. Snoop shows up, brings the Pimp, Magic Don Juan,
Yeah.
Warren G.
Yeah.
I mean, the squad.
Right.
And we didn't pay for that.
Yeah.
We didn't pay that appearance fee. We didn't like, that wasn't part of the deal. And that was all extra stuff, you know what I mean? That he just did on GP, bro, and it was like, that's crazy. That shoot, bro, that was a 20-hour shoot. We were there from like 5 in the morning till like 3 in the morning the next day.
Yeah.
Like Hennessy Black, I was sponsored by them at the time.
Okay.
They dropped off pretty much a half a pallet of Hennessy Black, and it was crazy. So it was just like, it was crazy, man. It was working with Snoop changed my life in so many ways, but it also made me realize that like I'm a little different. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to say that like in a cocky way or whatever, but I think people need to understand it's okay to be different and to understand yourself and to follow your intuition, your journey, and your journey is yours. So you have to listen to yourself and put the blinders on and just block everybody out. Because everybody's gonna have a opinion of what you do, regardless. And most people, unfortunately, especially nowadays, because of social media and stuff, they don't really have the best for us because there's a lot of envious people. There's a lot of, it's different now. So I've always struggled with worrying about other people and what they thought or whatever, and then I would bounce back and be like, you know what? I've been through so much and I've never gave up. Like, never once was I like, did I throw in the towel? I wanted to a lot of times, you know what I mean? Like, but I just look back and I'm like, yeah, I went through this, but look how far I've came, and look what I've done. Like, that's crazy, like the stuff that the places I've been, the people I've been around, just all that stuff. My life has been very blessed, and so I'm thankful for it. And I think, it starts with just being true to yourself, and I think that's what got me to a lot of those places, and I think that's what got, my point in this is saying that I think that's what got Snoop there for free. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like I'm gonna take care of this. You know what I mean? Like, it's because he told me, he's like, you're gonna have a hit. You know, at the time, California Girls with Katy Perry was #1 in like the world for like 6 weeks. So it was the same kind of concept. So he was like all for it. So it kind of, the universe worked out for me that time, you know. So, and from that, you know, things flourished. So, but working with him from, you know, just from that memory of circles to from doggy style to being in his living room and him saying my name from 12 feet, 15 feet away from me on my first international release single, you know what I'm saying? It just made it all worth it, you know. So. Growing up in deeply Chicano roots, being from the oldies, from the old school to the lowrider, I was around lowriders. My tias and all them, they had some of the baddest lowriders in town. Those are my dad's sisters.
Nice.
Excuse me. My stepdad, that family, they all had lolos, you know. So I was immersed in that whole culture from such a young age that it's everything to me, you know. So that mixed with the music and all that, and going to my nana's on Sunday and listening to Manic when he finally started the show. This was later, but just going to my nana's house on Sunday or my tia's, you know, just being there, bro, being with your primos, laughing, clowning on each other, like having the jokes ready for that one cousin, you know what I mean? Like, and you gotta be on point. Your outfits gotta be fresh.
We grew up with thick skin.
Exactly. And you're never gonna make it, you know what I'm saying? You're never gonna make it.
Right.
Like, come on, you know what I mean? So, but, and so because of that, I've always been the butt of like, I roll up and, oh man, I have to come back. Shit, so.
Sure, man.
So, I really just, when I moved back from LA, I had my daughter, and bro, I've been really active with her since day one, and I couldn't find nowhere to go to take her that I can get that vibe, like anything that I loved, whether it be the music, the carne asada, some fresh tortillas, which is not hard to do.
Right.
Though it wasn't there.
It wasn't existing.
No. And I just find myself by myself with my daughter barbecuing in my backyard because either my nana and them weren't doing nothing or whatever. And I just realized I need to create something now. I've done so much for so many other people. I've built restaurants, nightclubs, brands for so many other people. And nothing has ever been something that I've focused on myself because I've been like, oh, you know, I got to make this money over here. I got to get this right here. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not doing that no more. Like, I'm back home and I have kids and I want them to understand like the culture, how I was raised, like the importance of music, of family, of having thick skin, especially nowadays, you know, getting clowned on, you know what I mean? Like, kids nowadays can't handle that, you know what I mean? So I just kind of want to, you know, bring that fun, you know, like Wildin' Out. I think Nick Cannon kind of nailed that with Wildin' Out, for, you know, that, But, so anyways, I wanted to create something that instilled every single aspect of the culture into one.
Okay.
And so everything that I love happens to be on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
So one day I was chilling and I just, you know, I'm pretty creative, artistic decently. So I just kind of sketch a lot and I come up with some of my best ideas like that. And I just kind of render and go from there.
Yeah.
But I started doing the acronyms, you know, OASA, putting it together, writing. And I'm like, okay, hold on. This looks dope. Like, it looks kind of dope. It kind of like Casa, but it's like, nah, but it's like, you know, I'm like, hold on. And then I'm like, just the ideas, bro. I wrote the whole business plan, bro, on this. I was in a hotel at the time, and I used their notepad. And I still have it. It has the header on it and everything. And I just I drew out a scale of what it was gonna be like and I'm like, I'm gonna have a place that's like a backyard and you're gonna pull up, there's gonna be Lolos there, they're gonna be bumping oldies. If you go there on Sundays, there's gonna be fresh menudo, there's gonna be mariachis till like 1 o'clock.
Amazing.
Everything that we love and we miss, and you might just see Manic Hispanic broadcasting live one day there, you know what I mean?
Right, man.
Ray's Boom Boom Room, you know what I'm saying? Like that's
Yeah,
basically like, but our culture style, you know what I mean, of it. So I just kind of basically was like, if I do that, I can create this space that not only I can provide for my family, but I can also teach my kids the lifestyle and let them see and let them feel the same things that I felt, you know, growing up. And so I created OASA. And that stands for On a Sunday Afternoon. And we did the Arizona Super Show. We kind of just blew up from that back in 2019. And then it's just been a crazy couple of years, man. It's grown all throughout the lowrider scene. The website has just been insane. Our events, we have some of the best events at Cobra Arcade on Sundays. We do a lot of different local events, car shows and whatnot. But our end goal is to open a spot where you can go enjoy that at any time. It doesn't have to be a Sunday, or it doesn't have to be you can bring your family there and enjoy that. We'll provide that for you, you know? So when I pop up, with OASA, I don't do a traditional pop-up tent because I was like, that's not gonna do nothing for me. I've experienced magic in Vegas where all the brands would come out and showcase their newest stuff, and they would do full build-outs of what they were showcasing. So I'm like, I'm doing a build-out for my brand. So I bring grass, I bring a clothesline, we hang our merchandise on the clothesline. It's like you're at your Nana's house in the backyard. So it takes you back, you know? And that's exactly what our goal is, that we want to bring back memories while creating them as well.
Absolutely.
You know? So I'm very passionate about OASA, and that's something that we're really gonna move forward with very strongly. Simultaneously, I'm gonna release new music that ties in with the same, you know, style and whatnot, kind of going back to my roots and just putting it all together. It's definitely a blessing, and I'm very grateful. Just like I'm grateful for you guys and having this, putting me on this opportunity. I'm thanking to my family and everybody who has supported me through the years. And I'm Bobby Anthony, and thank you for giving me 5.
And there you have it. Man, nothing but love and respect to my man Bobby Anthony. I've known Bobby for many, many years now. Always been a stand-up guy. And, you know, I feel like I really learned a lot more about him in this episode, you know, because, you know, when we had finished, you know, he was just like telling me, man, this was like therapy, you know, and I said, man, that's really the whole point of it all. You know, I mean, it's just something to where, you know, we like to bring out good vibes and take you, you know, a trip down memory lane. And that's what he does with his On a Sunday Afternoon movement as well. It's taking you back to those Sundays, man. You know what I mean? Those righteous Sundays, menudo with the family, cookouts, listening to oldies. It's just, it's beautiful, man. So, you know, shout out to you, my brother. And, you know, I wish you nothing but continued success. All right. Make sure you guys are following him on social media. And shout out to my brother, Jimmy Nelson, on the camera. Make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel and go to our website. All right. And if you're feeling generous, feel like you want to donate to the cause, go ahead and hit the Cash App as well. Much appreciated. Well, this was definitely another one for the books. I had a lot of fun, you know, during this episode with my man. And until next time, stay tuned, stay blessed, stay healthy, and just give me 5, y'all.
Everything you get, you got the